Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for ThermOWeb, and I am sharing with you a layout created using some flock and foil with some transfer gel. So I often talk to you about how I like to have texture on my layouts. Well, I am putting texture directly down onto my layout using this digital cut file from Nick Squirrel. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use this cut file as a stencil, so I'm using the negative of the file, and because I want to add some mixed media around the flocking, what I'm doing is I'm just tracing where the lily pads and the lily flowers are going to be. And then I'm going in with some watercolor, and I'm just going to watercolor outside. Actually, I will watercolor on the inside, but that's because I didn't put where all of the innards of the lily pad are going to be, and so I want to make sure that I have watercolor there. And I've skipped over large parts of this video because each step is a little bit time consuming and you don't need to sit and watch each and every minute of that. So there's the watercoloring that I've done of the green lily pads. And then I'm going to use a slightly darker green to just splash over that to add some variegation of color as well as just the splatters to give you that sort of water look. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with the pink and do the same thing for the flowers, and I will do the same thing for, I'm not sure what these round things are, whether they're supposed to be rocks in the water or I used them as reflections of water, and that's why I chose to put foil there. So I'll do the same thing with the blue there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that stencil back, and you will see this coming up in a minute. And I'm going to apologize. I accidentally, for part of this video, hit time elapse or rapid speed or something. And so, and I tried to slow it down, but it's not going to show you at the normal speed of my normal videos. So I'm going to use my purple tape, and I'm going to adhere the stencil back down over where I had traced out the lily pads and the flowers. And then I'm going to apply Duo transfer gel. So this is a medium that once you allow it to dry will act as a glue, a heat activated glue or a pressure activated glue to pick up the medium to provide the texture to your page. So I'm applying it here just with a palette knife. You could use the stencil buddy that's sitting on my trimmer there, but because this is pretty fine detail, I want to use my palette knife instead. So you are then going to, once you've applied it, remove the stencil, and because I'm using a paper stencil, I did get some paper that transferred, and then you're going to set your timer for an hour, which is what I'm doing here, only I went to the wrong app first, and there is going to be an hour that you're going to need to set and let that dry for. I will tell you that if you still have white spots even after the 60 minutes, you should probably let it sit a little bit longer. I was impatient, and so what happens is you're going to get blobs instead of clear defined borders because it is going to be heat setted. I'm heating up my hot laminator, and I'm putting down my foil, and the foil is going to be color side out or silver down, and then your flock is going to be reversed because you want that hot to pick up the color that you're going to remove the backing of. So with the flock, you want to put color side down. On the foil, you want to put color side out. I'm going to run that through, and so I showed you 2 fingers there because I'm doing it twice. So this is where I had some filming errors, and so I'm going to apologize. It's going to be sort of jerky, but I'm just taking off all of the flocking and foil there, and that is what I've done with my ThermOWeb goodies. Now I'm going to continue to design with my ThermOWeb goodies, and I'm going to add some Fern and Willard from PhotoPlay to this layout. So what you saw that I had already done ahead of time is my white background is on that, I'm going to call it quilted piece of paper there, and so my white background is askew off of that just for that left and top color border there. And now I'm just going to scatter elements here and there to create the rest of the page. So I've got the sun on some Gina K double-sided foam up the top with the clouds. So I've popped up the sun. I am using I just want this blue to outline the paper. I have lots of the really bright colors, but I wanted contrast color to the green and the pink that are there, which is also why I went with that red tag again for some more contrast to pull the colors that are in that framing border on the left and top to pull that into the base of the layout as well. Again, I'm going to pop up, so I popped up the frog, I popped up the sun, and now I'm just going to pop up that sentiment there, that phrase saying, and then I'm going to use the happy sticker for the first half of my title, and then I'm going to find letter stickers that are a different color for spring. While I could have just left the title as happy, I do like to try and make personalize the phrases. I thought that green, but then I felt it added too much green and I wanted a little bit more red, which is why I went with these red letter stickers. They're actually from a Christmas kit from Feed Your Craft. And then that is going to finish the bulk of the layout. I just want to add some sequins. The aqua foil bothers me because I think they were supposed to be rocks. I intended them to be sort of reflections of waters to give you the water effect. And so I wanted to scatter a little bit more blue throughout the layout. And so I'm just trying to find Spiegelmom Scraps sequence mixes that has the blue that I want to use. And then I'm going to use my Zotz Bling. I love my Zotz Bling for my sequence to adhere that down. The other thing that you can use is your Ultra Bond. I just find that with the Ultra Bond, especially with the larger sequences, if you move your pages a lot, it breaks the seal with the sequence. So I think the Zotz Bling works much better. I wanted something to fill up that space up the top there. I like white space in my layouts, but I felt like it needed a little something more. So I've got an Ellie's Studio label from my collection, and then I'm going to layer it up with a couple of other things. That sticker I'm going to end up putting right there. While it's kind of weird on the lily pad, because it's tone on tone, you don't really see it as a visual disturbance to the pattern that is on the page there, but adds a fun sentiment and phrase to the layout. So pardon me, you can probably hear me moving. I'm trying to find the layout so I can tell you what phrases I used because I honestly, off the top of my head, don't remember. So just trying to pull a little bit more color and fill that space up there. And then I will journal underneath Happy Spring and just tell you a little bit about that photo. So this was actually, the photo was taken on the first day of spring. We went to Lewis Ginter, which is a garden that you have probably seen frequently in my layouts. And while it was fun and nice to get out, it was a little bit disappointing because typically the garden is a lot fuller and the tulips are out, and we didn't see the tulips this time. We saw lots of daffodils and bearded iris, and it was fun. It was nice to get out to the garden, but not what the garden usually is at that time of year. So just going to sprinkle in a few more of the stickers to add some color and finish that scene there. And that, my friends, is going to wrap it up. So again, I apologize for the filming, that segment of the film. It's not normal for me. But I did want to incorporate that part of the process. I thought it was an important part, and that was probably the best way to see it. So the close-ups are going to follow. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you are encouraged to try and add a different kind of mixed media to your scrapbook layouts. Thanks for stopping in today. Take care. Come back again soon.